Ah, damn it.
It was good.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. We've been out and about in London today, and I'm not feeling particularly well. So, like, it was. I'm feeling quite drained, to be honest. I'm looking forward to getting back home. So, I was in a restaurant at the moment, and we just had some we just had like a late lunch, early dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, my keyboard died.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear the noise.
I'll go into news as soon as I can.
Hello?
Somebody talk.
Hello, hello.
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 1, 2, 3. Testing.
I'm
1, 2,
actually on
3.
mute.
Can you? We can hear you.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, so it's just that I can't hear you. At least that's good.
Yes.
Can you guys go onto that? I've shared the link.
Okay, I can hear you guys now. Good.
Yay!
Right, let me just maximize you. The two Blakes are just busy making their morning oatmeal. They'll be with us in about 10 seconds.
My webcam not working.
Hmm?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes. No, not the screen. No, not you.
Not me, okay. Then it's not working.
That's okay, we can hear you. Oh, we saw you for a second.
Yeah.
Can someone go onto that link I've shared in the general channel and see if it's still sharing?
I was seeing you until a moment ago. I'm gonna get in.
What do you want to know with that link?
So there is a link in general. Just open it in the other window.
YouTube?
Yeah, it's
YouTube?
yes.
My live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see my screen over the phone?
Are you live streaming?
Yes, I'm gonna live stream from the device. So yeah. Oh, you can actually hear the voice from here as well. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, I just muted it.
Oh, you can actually hear the voice from here.
There's so much echo.
Mute the video.
Okay, so we're almost all here.
Okay, I'm muting that.
The Blakes are just, we'll be listening in a few seconds, they're in the kitchen. But there's not much point in hanging on. So let's make a start with this. Who wants to share their screen to bring up the sprint board?
I will.
Where are you, Murray?
I am in a ZZ's, quite close to the Tower of London.
Ah, I know exactly that street behind you. Yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly where that is.
Actually, not far from me. Because I popped in for lunch.
So, Charlie, do you live near Tower of London?
No, I'm now a bit further. I used to live in Wapping, so I was like 10 minutes away.
Do you know Lehman Street that runs up between Aldgate East and Wapping?
Yes.
I used to live on Lehman Street.
Oh, really?
In fact, my niece has been to a party at my place.
Ah, that's very close. Yeah,
About 15
yeah, yeah.
years ago.
I lived opposite Tobacco Dog.
I know exactly what you mean.
Mm.
Anna, are you in a call? Okay.
I did see a face come up. We're getting absolutely horrible echo, so everyone.
Everybody make turning off things you're not actually talking.
Okay, so what I was going to do is I was going to switch it up today, so let the US go first. But if the Blakes aren't around, that's not going to work. So as
The Blakes are just in the kitchen. They'll be literally 2 minutes. So, Blakes,
let's wait then.
come on, guys. It's crucially important that they have their morning oatmeal. Everyone here has oatmeal for breakfast. Okay. I do like basic oatmeal, you know, oatmeal and water. These guys are like oatmeal and water and almond butter and bananas and cinnamon and honey and flaxseed and...
Yeah, that's amazing. I also want.
Okay, so...
Does sound amazing. Okay, let's crack on. All right, so I'm going to go to the sonar board now. Can everyone see the sonar board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So let's, as per last week, let's try and get through the list of items quite quickly. What we try, just a recap on what we're trying to do. We're trying to.
We lost you, Murray. You stopped talking.
Can you hear me now?
We can. So you were going to start off by reminding us the purpose of the Sprint Valley meeting.
Yes. So the idea is to review what we did last week. What was easier or more difficult than we thought, to try and get our estimation better, and then to identify any blockers that stopped us from achieving what we set out in the beginning of the week.
Great. In which case, let's. I know you guys are eating, but this week we're starting off. Let's start off with. Let me start by briefly introducing what this guy's been doing, and then they can dig in. I have largely handed off my stuff to do with the back end to Blake C, which has enabled me to do a lot more of the business things I need to do. While Blake P has been continuing to work on scoring. So, Blake P, do you want to kick off? Sorry, I started literally just put a mouthful of food there. Do you want to talk about how we do scoring? Some of you will have seen the presentation already. Should I talk me through that up? I can bring up the presentation if you like.
Sure, yeah, actually make it way easier.
Okay.
Basically, what I started to do on Monday and what I discussed with Murray last Friday about putting a presentation together for you all to see kind of how we're doing our work and how to make it a baseline safety score. So there's a few factors for this, and it's all the data that's getting taken in real time. That will give us a better estimate of how a driver should be priced rather than their demographics. And is the screen on right now?
Yeah, it is, but I'm just getting some on exactly your section.
Okay.
Is it coming for everyone on the screen? I can't see.
Okay. Okay.
It'll be Friday.
It's Friday. Yeah, okay. Now let me bring this up. Okay. So let's come on, full screen on this.
Basically, what we're looking at are three main components to our pricing tool. The first one would be the demographics portion, which we have completed, which is
completed for Arizona, largely,
California.
and California.
Yeah.
Other states still do.
Correct. So that's based off the very basic factors that insurance companies today, like age, sex, zip code, accidents, violations, and claims. So that is completed on our end for Arizona. What I'm currently working on right now is the baseline safety score. Like it says, uses data, replaces the demographic scoring as you accumulate more miles. So there's 4 factors in the score. It's a speeding score, cornering score, braking and accelerating, and the road conditions. Things like, is it 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.? Is it 3 a.m. to 6 a.m.? And what we found to be interesting is that the most dangerous time to drive, it's almost like 10 times more dangerous to drive.
Hang on, let's bring this to that.
There you go. So here's the time of day. What we found is we pretty much took the percentage of trips that are taken during this time period versus the percentage of accidents during this time period. If you're driving between midnight and 3 a.m., you're drastically increases your chances of getting into an accident.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the safety score, by the way, the lower the safety score, the lower the chance of accident. Between 9 and 12 in the morning, 0.71 chance of being an accident. 9 and 3 a.m., 8. Simply by knowing that somebody does a lot of driving between midnight and 3 a.m., as opposed to doing it between 9 and 12, means you have a radically different view about how risky that customer is.
Yeah. So that was the first aspect of our road conditions safety score. The second one being weather. I mean, in Arizona, obviously, as you can see, more than 98% of the time it's considered normal, meaning no rain, no snow.
Yeah, Arizona, for those of you who are not American, probably the hottest and driest, okay, it's along with Nevada state. It's a desert state. So, if you look again at the safety score, you're again almost three times as likely to have an accident if it's raining as if it's not raining.
The main contributor to that is, from at least what I read, is people who are driving in the rain in Arizona, since it only rains less than 1% of the time, they're not used to driving in the rain, therefore they don't know how to drive in the rain. So that was the main factor for that. And the third factor of our road conditions is simply the road type. So urban versus rural. It's a little more dangerous to drive on urban than rural. However, not noted in this is that the fatality rate on the rural roads is actually higher than urban. So I'm not sure how we can factor that in.
Yeah, because people drive faster.
There's more frequency of accidents in urban, but it's more fatalities in rural. So, yeah, those are the scalars for that. The second component being braking and accelerating. So basically right here it just explains breaking down how we derive the braking and accelerating between each driving segment. And this is why I kind of reached out to Vitaly earlier this week, because it's all based off distance traveled. So if you had a mile trip, and for 0.7 out of the 1 mile that you drove, you have a safe accelerating and braking score, it'll reward you for that. And it's all based off distance traveled. So this kind of just explains the different thresholds that we have for braking and accelerating, how to get from each data point into a driving score of sorts.
So basically, if when you're accelerating or braking, you're doing it aggressively, you will have a lower score. And it's going to be very interesting to look at those of us that use this. I've been looking at the scores for Murray versus me, and really, it's not looking good for Murray, right?
Next one being cornering or turning. Basically, if you go to the next slide, it kind of shows that based off of 3 points, for point number 2, you can find an increase in G-forces to be at that cornering point. And all we do is we base that based off the average G-force of one trip. So for some reason, some trips have higher G-forces than others because your phone was sitting in a cup holder or your car vibrates when you drive. But it's pretty consistent throughout one drive to the next based on G-force, and all we're doing is 0.2 to the average G-forces of the whole drive. And if it falls within one of those 3 thresholds on the bottom on step 2, and we appropriately weight the turns.
And then we look at let's say, over 1,000 miles, how many turns did you do? How did they fit into the buckets? And that derives a cornering score.
And the last thing would be speeding, which is probably the most simple element of our baseline safety score, I'd say.
So what we're looking for right now, which you don't quite have, is we're looking to have enough driving data on enough drivers that we can start putting them into buckets and giving them overall scores, and then turning those overall scores into per mile prices. And we're not there yet, but we are getting there, and hopefully, I think, we're going to take a look at. I think we've got about 25 drivers that have done more than 500 miles, and we're going to basically score those guys over the next week. Have something interesting to report back then on that. Let's see.
Okay, so as Robert said, he kind of handed off most of the portal stuff to me. So that includes this week I've been doing, first off, I finished up the scoring page in the portal. So it basically just gives a breakdown of the users' scores.
So that's where you can go in and you can examine how well Murray's been driving, as opposed to say.
Yeah, so you can see the users' scores, you can see the average score, like per category for speeding, acceleration, and cornering. And you can see like the trip breakdown into the per mile, what did they get for that mile as a score. So that's finished up, should be on the live production portal right now. Other things that we added to the portal are a user signups by day page.
That is new. So if you want to see, actually, you know what? Let me start sharing. Not push. Okay.
Might not be pitched. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, look, we'll at the beginning of next week, we'll do a little session. We'll take everyone through all of the stuff that's in the portal, so you can see the data that we are collecting. There's something as well we'd like to do. I mentioned to Jessica, it's kind of not been slightly backburnered, but that's what Jessica said, that actually the design and flow of the portal is moderately sensible.
Yeah. Cool. So in the user signups page, there's a few charts that basically break down how many users we got on a certain day, how many active users per day, and then another part to come is basically how many of the active users
So if you guys go to the general channel, there is a link to YouTube stream. So if you can click on that link, I'll show you the demo on the real device, not in the emulator. It's real device. You probably want to mute the audio on the YouTube channel because it will echo like hell.
So fancy.
Yeah, does everyone see it?
Look at you. Love it.
So first feature we pushed out is the very first version of payouts, and it's quite simple. The user goes to his payments. He can still choose between Amazon vouchers and bank transfers. So say you pick a bank transfer, you click request payout, and you're gonna get notification saying that you requested payout of 2601. A member team will get in touch with you soon. And if you've seen on Slack, if whoever is subscribed to the payout request should have seen there is notification in there. You can go to Slack, it is there, I'm not lying. Saying that user email name has requested a payout of 2601. And if I change to Amazon voucher, request a payout, they'll get again. Unfortunately, at this stage, we do not update the balance or anything, so user can request multiple times, so it's something to be aware of, that they might start spamming us a bit. And this went out on Monday. However, there were a few crashes which turned out to be unrelated, so I was rolling out it slower, so I released it 20%, was waiting for it to settle and see if it's stable enough, and that turned out to be there was an issue with the phone rather than the release. So I pushed it out 100%, so that should be available to everyone who updates. So that's payouts. Next, notifications. So when you start a trip, you stop the trip, you see this screen now. So after doing your first trip, you'll see the screen which will ask you if you want a notification, a reminder about your journeys in the morning. So you can pick a time and you can pick a frequency. So you can set to be every day, you can be only on weekends, on weekdays. So let's do weekdays. And you can either enable notification or you can skip it for now. So let's skip it. And then it shows you the summary screen which we shown before. And in case you want to change your notifications or it gets annoying or you didn't enable them in the first place, you can go to, there's a section called notifications. By the way, debug screen is not visible to public. That's there's a secret screen for like additional information, version apps, clearing storage, and so on. So if anyone has some questions about how to view, for example, what's it called, the intro screen where we explain how the app works, and that is only visible once, there is an option to show that screen again. But on to notification. So there's another screen there that is similar. It shows that we didn't enable the reminder. You can choose it to be 5:30. You can enable notification and you'll get a reminder every day at 5:30. And if you change your mind, you can go to notification and enable and disable it. Few interesting things is one, like interesting gotcha is if we ever schedule notification and don't keep an ID of that notification, there is no way to unschedule it. So if you do a recurring notification, you have to be very careful to remember what you've said, because otherwise the only way is to uninstall an app and reinstall it again to get rid of these everyday notifications. So something we have to be careful with. And that is in staging, so we're planning to, that should be released later today.
So what you're saying is that once I've set up a notification, there's no way to actually cancel notifications other than removing the app?
No, at the moment if you disable it, yes, you can, but you have to be very careful with even local notifications, especially local notifications, because if you have a bug and you do not keep track of notifications you set, there is no way to cancel them.
Okay.
But no, it at the moment we take care of that. So that was the big complexity which we had. So we spent some time of this week finishing that. So these are, and the payments, but the payments is kind of we're in the middle of it, so there is nothing to demo. Hopefully we'll have something next week. Also one thing while I remember, on the we have a task for Google Analytics to be added to the app. So that might be interesting to, like, once we're in state we can catch up and see what you guys done on the portal, because that also will capture a lot of data. It will show you like the user flows and so on. So yeah, that's that.
Jess, should we jump to you now?
Sure. Yes. Don't have a demo to show. Maybe I'll get a demo for next week. But very